me, I love running. I think it does really good for my mental health.
Mhm.
I think clearly after running or whilst running. I get great ideas. I am in my element. I get to enjoy nature, connect with nature, especially when it's in the early mornings and the road is quiet and you can hear the
Mhm.
birds and you can feel that sunshine hitting you, the first sunshine of the morning hitting your face or your body. I love that.
Mhm.
So everybody, some people they prefer the gym, some people prefer a good early morning swim,
Mhm.
whichever.
Yeah.
That's your preference.
And another thing, I mean, people always say it, and sometimes we want to deny it, like me in particular. But the exercise does leave you more
Of
energetic.
course, you
So
sleep
if
better
so,
too.
yeah. So I have noticed, even if you feel lazy and you don't want to do it, when you do it, you actually have more energy throughout your day if you start off your day with it. And Carlton, as you mentioned, you sleep better, if you if
Hmm.
you if you do it throughout your day or in the evening, whatever it is. So those endorphins that are released, those feel happy chemicals that are released in the brain when you exercise, they give you that little boost of energy, and it's beneficial, especially if you have a very hectic job, to get that
Yes,
energy boost, so you can be more efficient.
definitely. Let me just give you some updates referencing Jolly's Pharmacy. We know that we are currently in the Christmas season. The carols have been playing on the radio. Decorations are coming up. I went to the bank yesterday, beautifully
Oh,
decorated.
wow.
And yeah,
Mhm.
so the season is right here. And on Friday, which is the Dominican version of Black Friday, it's a time when almost the internet and the shopping online breaks. Every other person,
Mhm.
try to ensure that they wait for the Black Friday sales. But we are having our own Black Friday sale this weekend, and it begins on Friday and ends on Sunday. So you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Nice.
But guess what? It's for our children.
Mhm.
And so we're having a 30% discount on all toys. And that's going to be at the Mega Store, only at the Mega Store, starting this Friday. So you have Friday, you have Saturday, and Sunday morning until we close at 2 o'clock on Sunday to make your purchases, make your purchase on your favorite toy for your child, a godchild, a nephew, a niece, a child that you truly admire, and get 30% discount. And yes, that's
Carlton,
a
or even a
good
child
deal.
you don't know. So it's a good,
Yes.
because there are different initiatives. Secret Santa, the
Hmm.
adult education division, does it every year, where you can give a gift to a child, and
Hmm.
it's a child you maybe do not know. They dip a name for you. You get to give a gift, so you can do that early. Get your gift, get your toy. 30% is a good deal. I've seen some people advertising Black Friday deals. They're not so good, Carlton, but 30% is good. 30% is
Yes.
good.
Yes.
So I would encourage people
So
to
we
jump on
yeah.
that early.
So we're paying the VAT for you, and then we
Hmm.
still give you an additional 15%.
Yeah,
That's
that's good.
practically what it is.
Yeah.
30%.
Hmm.
Um, as well too, on the 9th of December, it's going to be Portsmouth Megaland, or what we call Mega Christmas, where we take all of the Christmas celebration for children to Portsmouth at our new location there. I know the possible people have come to Roseau in the past to celebrate with us, and this time around, not just Portsmouth, but everybody from the north, you are invited, the north, the northeast, you are invited to our Wonderland in Portsmouth. And that is the 9th, that is Saturday, the 9th of January, and it is from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
December.
And yes, that is in December.
December, 9th of
It
December.
is really a wonderful experience. I don't think there is any other company that does it like Jolly's when it comes to the Wonderland, the Christmas version each year. And so the 9th of December, we will be celebrating with the people of the north and northeast of the island. And on the 16th of December, we get back to Roseau, and we will be again at our mega store in Fokoli, presenting to you this year's wonderland, a Christmas wonderland. And it's a time where children get to, express themselves, sing carols, dance, sing, do things, play with each other. There are lots of bongs, all these different things for children. And that is going to be taking place from 2 to 6. So it's the same time, same length of time as that of Portsmouth. So those of you who are listening, remember the dates for the Portsmouth Christmas Wonderland. That is December 9. December 9, that's a Saturday, and we will begin from 2 and end at 6. And December 16, we will be at the Mega Store in Fokole, where we'll be bringing to you this year's Christmas Wonderland in Roseau. And that is going to be taking place on the 16th, Saturday the 16th, and will begin at 2 p.m. and end at 6 p.m. We have also received new perfumes. Those of you who have been purchasing our perfumes, you will know that we have really, really good prices on our designer perfumes. So you can get designer perfumes, you can get intermediate brands, and you can get low end brands. But you can get all the latest perfumes. You can get colognes from Dubai. You can get all of the good brand names that you would have known or accustomed to, and they are available. If you need advice on perfumes or colognes, feel free to ask for me, and I should be able to help you quite well. It's one of my areas of keen interest, and I see the people have been in the perfume business from since 1998. My very first designer perfume, Trudy, was Dune for Men from Christy Dior. And I've never forgotten that. So when it comes to names of perfumes and which ones are for what and what season is best for this particular one, so I'm wearing today Versace Eros. I'm wearing that one today. Although it's a very it's like a romantic evening wear club smell, but it's a smell that I would normally put sometimes in the daytime if I know I'm going to be out and I'm going to be hustling. If if you feel like you're going to be maybe have a little sweat, it is one
It's
that
long
projects.
lasting?
Yeah, it projects really well.
Okay.
So you can get up to 12 to 14 hours
Nice.
of using Versace Eros.
Nice. Long lasting fragrance. Yeah.
So this morning we do have an open line with you where it will be you having your say. And it's a while we've not had an open line. We've had guests back to back to back to back. And so today we're going to give you that opportunity. We will maybe pitch in a few things. There is a question that I want to ask. I know it might have some people talking, but I want to address it, and I want to address it on two levels. I see we have a caller. Trudy, maybe let's hear what this caller has to say to us. Maybe they want to say hi, season greetings to us. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Lando. Good morning to your co-host.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Miss.
This is Lucille. There is a perfume I used to for years travel while I'm working in hospital, traveling up and down to the States. When I don't get it here, I buy it up there. But there I can remember some time back it started getting scarce. It is something from Paris. Paris. It was named Primo.
Primo.
In a yellow little box.
Okay.
Primo. It was very expensive for its size. But I'm not seeing no way I can get that again. But I was used to it because when I put it on to go to work, the whole day plus. If I put it on my body, it will stay on. If I put it on my clothes, it will stay on the clothes until.
Yes.
Sometimes when I pass on the word, they will say, well, Smith is my surname. They will say, Smith pass them, man. Because they were used to it. On me, it stays Primo. I just cannot find that perfume again.
Yeah, we just seen it on Amazon.
A what?
It's on Amazon. We're just looking at it. You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it online.
Online? Well, I'm not an online person. Sorry to say that.
Yeah, but maybe one of your grandchildren that online stuff you can buy it for you.
No. I have my relatives with my grandchildren, not the and whatever. They are little children and whatever.
Okay.
Well,
But we've seen
I
it.
can send for it because you tell that to me.
Yes.
I can make
Yes.
somebody order it for me.
Yes. It's there.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my dear. Have a good
It's
morning.
good to talk at times.
That's it. That's true.
Thanks.
It's available. Yes. Well, Trudy, I have a question that I want to ask, and it might be one. And you know, our show is all about health and wellness, and there have been a lot of talk about the state of our healthcare system in Dominica. Many people have been talking about lack of XYZ, lack of resources, lack of medications, lack of human resources, the attitude of our healthcare providers at some of our medical institutions, cancellations of elective surgeries and procedures. And we've been hearing a lot too. I have not heard many complaints about the health centers per se. The complaints that I would normally hear about the health centers is that, well, they're out of medications, but we still have the availability of nurses, or at least one or two nurses that would be there from the time of the health center opening, which is usually about 8 o'clock, until close. And most of these health centers also have a nurse that's on call as well. I know that they would normally put a number outside of the health center on the door or on the bulletin board, and the nurse name who is on call and the contact number is usually there. Um, it is one that is of concern because for years we've always had a very good healthcare system in terms of access, in terms of medications, and so forth. But I was in a conversation just last week with an individual, and we were kind of looking at this from an economic standpoint. And we were saying maybe it's time that we begin to pay for our health services. Maybe the complete freeness from since you pass 60 and so forth. Maybe that is putting a strain on the system, and therefore resources are becoming scarce worldwide, and that might be putting a burden on government in terms of replenishment or replenishing of stock in a timely manner. But if people maybe were to pay their bills, pay their hospital bills, and so forth, and those who can afford, even if you're 60, but you would have made good money maybe in your life, you may have returned to Dominica after living away for many years, and you've moved back here, and you have all your money in the bank stored up. Maybe you too. So they were talking about a social inquiry should maybe be done, even if you've passed 60, to find out whether you should and can pay your medical bills. What are your thoughts? You're in public health. I'm putting you on the spot this morning, but your own thoughts on it. I personally think if you can pay, there should. I personally believe in the social inquiry, even if you've passed. I would think maybe if you're 80 years or so, maybe you should really be exempted. Okay, you're 80 years old, you've really given. But if you're 60, you're still young. And let's say you've returned to Dominica, you lived overseas for all of your life, you gave all of your human resource to another country. I was speaking from to another country, and then you come back here, and then you fall sick and you're in the hospital, and everything is free for you, and you have money in the bank. I think you should be.
Carlton, my opinion, and it's something I have kind of looked at prior, even when I was, doing my master's in public health. My thing is national health insurance. I think the insurance scheme, a national one, could cover some of the economic issues that we may be dealing with. What the thing about pulling back something that was previously offered for free, it causes a lot of contention, and it's difficult to to sell or to become accepted by the population. You have to be so careful with recalling or reverting certain things that were previously given for free. There may be a lot of people who genuinely benefit from this, from this perk of having the free services after the age of 60, or reduced price at least. But there are others, as you said, who maybe could pay. Now, if everyone was contributing to a national health insurance scheme, then there would be coverage for the entire population through that scheme. Now, a lot of people do not do private insurance. I have noticed it's not something that we are very keen on locally, is, buying into health insurance. It's something that I am very, 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 I think it's very, very important.
I too.
Health insurance. I have been brought up to understand
I agree.
that it is a bill essentially that you do not want to
I agree.
not pay. So ever since I started working at the age of 18, the first thing was to get insurance, health insurance. There are arguments for other policies, life insurance, whatever. I don't know I cannot argue for anything else but health insurance, and getting that health insurance before you are sick.
True.
Because it becomes, of course, more difficult when you are already infirmed, or if you have chronic diseases. It becomes more difficult, especially for the private insurance kind of policies, to get covered. So I believe it's something that people should do, but people don't seem to be very keen on on it, or prioritizing health insurance. But maybe a national health insurance policy like in England, I believe, and yes, yes.
Well.
So that would maybe allow people to be paying a small contribution to that scheme, which would cover the healthcare. That is what I have always felt might work. People would say it's another tax. We have enough taxation already. But in terms of the benefits of being covered when you are in a health crisis, I think you cannot argue out of those benefits.
So do you think that, for example, if the government were to consider revising the income tax threshold and maybe take a percentage of that and put it into, so that every person that's working, you pay a part of a percentage of
towards
your salary,
health insurance?
Yes. Would that make?
But I don't know. You see, I don't know the economics of it. I don't know the numbers, but maybe that could be a solution. I'm not sure.
Let's hear this caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling. All right. Feel free to call back. The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. And of course, you can always connect with us if you reside outside of Dominica. That number is 305-432-9624. I suspect we're having an economic class this morning, which I'm liking. Let's take this caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good morning, Carlton and Trudy.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Business greetings to both of you.
Thank you. We're doing well. Thank you.
Good. Carlton, you just made a very nice proposition there, but it's controversial in my mind, and I'll tell you why. But you stated why it is controversial, and I will repeat so we understand clearly. You have a system that has given free lots of things, and the people mindset are already trained to that. You have a situation where the health system has been deteriorating for a while. The economy has been deteriorating for a while. In order to put forth your proposition, my suggestion is they would have to build back the economy. retrain the people in the mindset. Because, like Trudy say, if you have a national system, it would work more, equitably for everybody. And some people will be able to get care based on what comes in through the system to support the less fortunate. But as it is right now, with the mindset of the people and the system is not really that proficient, I don't think it's gonna be no time soon where we could have that kind of system, because you have a man who live in the country says he has insurance and the rest of the people clap and they don't. I think they misjudge what he said, or just they didn't understand, or they were baffled by his presence. But the system is gonna take that kind of system, Carlton, I would tell you in my estimation, will take another 10, 15 years to implement, because you'd have to slowly pull it in, because the fact that you have to retrain the people, make them think otherwise, more independent than dependent. I'm listening. Thank you.
Thank you. One may also bring the argument that what we're experiencing in Dominica is quite similar to any other Caribbean island. Recently, my father-in-law passed away suddenly. He lived in Trinidad, was taken to the hospital, sat out in the ER waiting on the doctor for over 2 hours, and subsequently collapsed. When he collapsed, then the doctors came running just to pronounce him dead a few minutes after. So people might say, well, our system is terrible, 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 and that would not happen in Barbados, or it may not happen in Trinidad, or it may not happen in St. Kitts, or it may not happen in the US, but these things do happen. I think it's one of the burning issue in many of the Caribbean islands: healthcare, the cost of medications, the lack thereof of medical supplies to take care of basic needs that people may have. We're hearing of these things happening too in Dominica. The question is, should we get back even at our homes to having our first aid kits and invested in our at least preventative health items of our first aid kits, or blood pressure monitor, or glucometer, or thermometer, or our oxygen monitor. At least have all of those things at your own home, that you at least you can start the ball rolling. But some of us, we have these beautiful homes and absolutely nothing. Maybe the only thing that we can say we have there maybe is a bottle of beer rum. You understand? But but when I was growing up, in my days, there was what they call the medicine chest. And there was iodine and mercurochrome.
I was going to say the mercurochrome.
Yes, the mercurochrome and the empty powder and the soft candle and all those things were there. And when something happened to you, your mother would not just take you to the health center. She would begin the process, and if later on she recognizes it's beyond her, then she takes you for an evaluation. But we recognize too that is also an issue where people sort of put a strain on the health system, and everybody runs to the ER when it may not be considered an emergency.
Right. Yeah, so we have this terminology we used to use, casualty, but in fact, it's an emergency room for emergencies. A lot of people use it for non-emergency reasons, so there's that as well.
Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Yes, good morning, Carlton. Good morning to the panel.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Yes, Carlton, that's a good idea. It's a very good idea. But first, there would have to be an increase in salary. Because, for example, I think Dominica is one of the countries in the OECS or the CARICOM that have the highest pricing cost of living, electricity and everything, pot charge and all those things there. No, I think it's one of the countries that pay the lowest wage bill in the Caribbean. And Dominica is one of that having the most revenue, right? So why is it that we should pay, and where that all the ministers just get a high increase, And the civil servants and the ordinary people never get an increase. Why is it that the government cannot subsidize? Because of all those billions they make from the passport, and it's not being spent on the people. Do you think that the little income people is making already having to pay so much? Look, Doasco wants to raise their water, and they want to put money for people to pay for the garbage collection and all those things, and that little salary we are getting. Do you think we should have to pay those kind of health insurance? And again, that is criminal, and that's going to generate a lot of crime in the country, because poverty is what creates crime. Poverty is a breeding ground for crime, and if people have to go through those kind of things, I'm telling you, there will be no Dominica tomorrow, because everybody will be afraid of living in Dominica. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well said. And that's a very leading argument. I am picking up a lot of sociological terms and variables in there. We have so many callers. Let's take this caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. Carlton, do you know that 20 years ago, civil servants were asked to take a decrease in salary? And do you know that the increases they got to date does not equal the decrease they got? So life is obviously harder, so they have to use the same old medicine chest of their grandmother and can't replenish it.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? And Antigua does have a medical benefit fund which assists their people very well.
Antigua?
Yes.
And is that a fund that the government puts together, or it's in collaboration with an NGO?
Very likely it's in collaboration. I'm not sure of the details, but I know they have it and the people benefit. And they do most of their medicals in Antigua. They have all the equipment.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Let's take this other caller. All the lines are going. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Carlton. Good morning, Tuti.
Good morning to you, my dear.
Morning.
And your co-host.
Morning.
Morning.
Carlton, you said something earlier on, and I cannot agree with you on that.
Sure.
A
Yes.
couple of years back, the people of Dominica were asked to pay some $20 at the hospital fee.
Mm-hmm.
When this government, I think some governments sometimes do bad things just to catch votes. The government we have now make it like everybody 16 to 60, how do you put it, from baby to 16, free. That's how I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 60 upwards, you get hospital free,
Mm-hmm.
which I find them people did not do their homework. It's ridiculous, because right now we have a lot of foreigners in the country that didn't contribute one time to that country.
Mm-hmm.
So when these people, their children, didn't contribute nothing either, barely contributed to the country. So some people might dislike me for saying that. Some people might dislike you for bringing up that point. So when these people, their children, send to get them, they 55, 60, and they come in. Right now they're coming and they enjoying maybe some free benefits from the health system, which they shouldn't have at all, because if you're in America and something happened to you and you haven't got the necessary documents or even the health care thing, when you go to the hospital, yes, they will take care of you. They will give you everything you have to use at the time. But once you give them an address, you'll be getting your long bill, your social security on it, you'll be getting your long bill for you to pay.
Mm-hmm.
But here is wipe your foot and come inside, and everybody now paying for that. Which I find when them people did that, they didn't take their time to do their homework, because you cannot do a thing so when you know how the system rules. Furthermore, we had in 2014, the opposition called for Tuti just brought it up that how you call that, insurance,
Medical insurance.
that insurance policy scheme,
National health insurance.
National health insurance.
Mhm.
That was something the government, the opposition spoke about. Then the government that they jump on the bandwagon and they said they were going to do that up to a day like today. And instead of doing that, the man that says he's the prime minister of the country went on a political platform at Newton and telling the people, I have insurance for me and my children and my family. What about you? I say, oh my God, the people started clapping and blowing us. That time we're in a country there, and some of us, I don't know if we go in, if we come in, it's a sad situation for all of us.
Thank you, caller.
Bills going up, our bills going up. All this, they look right now to be the 2 million in the cemetery. It just went up. It was $600, $700. It will be going another $100 will be added up on it. So you see where we are? Between a rock and a hard place in that country. Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Good morning to you, caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good morning to you, Carlton.
Good morning to you, sir.
And good morning to the person with you, and of course all of the listeners.
Yes.
Carlton, I have to say, as I listened to you at the introduction, a couple of things came to my mind. By the way, there is a term that you use. I would like a little conversation about it. Social. What is that you said? I want to do a social what?
A social inquiry.
A social inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
The little conversation. Would you explain for me, and I suspect other people, what does a social inquiry mean, my brother?
Okay. So I am looking at, the typical biometrics, your age, your gender, your family history, your occupation, or what you would have done before if you retired, what was your last salary, how much money that you may have in the bank, do you have children, are the children residing here, what jobs do they have, these types of questions.
Well, my brother, I'm glad that you have expounded on this, because you see what you have just described? That sounds like what I would expect to hear if I were living in Russia, in China, basically in a communist system. You see out west where we are, boss, this thing about government, my brother, does not have the right to inquire into everything in our personal lives, brother. This thing about so government just arbitrarily gets up and say, well, I want to find out, what your age, I want to know how much money you have in the bank. Are you crazy? I should tell the government how much money I have in the bank? That's not their business. Never will, and never should be their business. So this thing about this social inquiry, this to me is really what it sounds like. It does not sound like anything that is sensible.
But these are basic questions that are similar when a census is being done. When a census is being done and in any country, and the enumerator comes to your home, they ask you these types of questions in a sense of censorship. And most of us give that information. I don't think they remember half of the people that they would have seen and what the people told them.
Right. But hear what you just said, though, Carlton. You just said a census. It is also correct to state that a census is something that is permitted by law, the law of the country. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, but then the social inquiry, the social inquiry would also be something that the government may want to consider by law as well. Because I remember in times past, it was done where an evaluation was done, and if you passed, then and the need really was there, or else everybody is just going to take advantage of the system. That's my take.
Well, yeah, but I hear you there, my brother. But but here you see what you just said. Let's go back to the census. The census the law is already in place for a census annually. Isn't that correct, Carlton?
Well, I think it's every 10 years the census is done.
Okay, every 10 years. But can I ask you, when was the last time that a census was done in Dominica, which is supposed to be done by law? As far as you know.
I know that there was one happening last year.
There was a census done last year?
Yes. This year.
Oh my goodness!
Is it this year?
Really? So Carlton, have you not heard of many people inquiring about the fact that we have not had a census for many, many years? No, you haven't heard that?
Well, I know for a fact there was a census that was being done this year. I'm sure it's this year. And I know that someone came to my house. Yes. I know someone came to my house to ask questions. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Carlton, that is news. I don't want to take up too much of the time. This is news, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy to hear that a census was in fact done. I have never seen or heard anything about it.
I don't know what the results are. But I don't know what the
results are. We need a census. So if you're telling me, and you know that it was done. That is very good, and I guess then Dominicans are right to be asking for the results of the last census. Let me say one last thing before I end, and that one last thing I would like to say there is, really and truly, brother, there is so much that can be done when government wants to do whatever they want. Carlton, do you remember in 2000, you're a relatively young guy, but I think you can remember, you were already an adult. In 2000, do you remember, you were in the health business, that the government of the day, there was actually a pilot program that was started or about to be started for a national health insurance in Dominica?
Well, unfortunately, I was out of state in around that time. I was out of state at that time. I left Dominica in '97, so I was out of state around that time. To be honest with you, I returned in 2010. So
so you missed that completely.
Yes.
You're one of those, when you go out of state, you completely forget about Dominica.
Not necessarily. Yeah. But anyway, we have to go. We have to go because we have so many calls coming in. But thank you for your contribution.
All the best, brother.
Have a good morning. Take care. Let's take this caller. Good morning to you, caller. Good morning, caller. All right, let's take this other caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Kauti. I haven't seen you and heard you for a little while, but I'm happy to hear your voice.
Okay, Nils.
And your co-host that you have here. Kauti?
Yes, ma'am.
Here is a place of laughter. Kauti, since I was doing nursing, I went on the radio how many times and I said, I think government should just take $20 from everybody that's working and start off an insurance scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And that would help to pay a lot of our bills and, our medical things in Dominica. But everything politics take up is a political thing on a stage. And saying that and that about that one, and that one saying that about that one, and we have reached nowhere. Carlton, I hear you talking about if people did survey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm living at my home here for 20 plus years. Matty, I'm not so young. I don't have to tell nobody my age. And nobody has done a census of my home to find out if a dog lives in there, if a cat lives in there, if I am able. Apparently, it seems to me that some people, when they pass one time, they don't see you in your house and they can't get you. They just ask you the neighbor, how much people live in there now? You know her name now? And Calci, they write in that. Because Calci, you cannot tell me up to now since I'm in this house. I cannot tell you I ever got a census. That is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't want to give you blows because you're a good man. But something is wrong with our system. This system that needs to look about.
Thank you. Thank you.
But, and let me tell you another little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I'm a nurse, I was a nurse, and I've done a lot. I work for 38 days and 9 months. Carlton, this salary is nothing. Calci, 20 years. Pension has got an increase. Come on, Calci. In St. Kitts, they give pensioners $1,000 on every pensioner's salary. Calci, I just have to live from hand to mouth. What nonsense is this? I can't go on holiday all I want. The medical system throwing us. Everybody that's sick have to go overseas. Carlton.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton, I don't criticize my country, but I'm telling you, it is rough. And I will even stop listening to you for a while because it looks like my head will go bum. I cannot deal with the injustices that is in my state. Carlton, you're doing a good job. May God help all of us. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Truly, the calls are, I think this is a hot topic. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Carlton.
Yes, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning to your co-host, and I wish you all the best for the new year.
Thank you so much.
Carlton, you've been doing a wonderful job.
Thank
Carlton,
you.
let me tell you something. We have a lot of major issues at home. And this healthcare lack of insurance is a huge one. Now, I'm a Dominican. I don't live in Dominica. I love Dominica. I come to Dominica quite often. I pay my dues, do my contributions, and I have empathy for the people. Now, if I come back home to retire, I don't have to worry. I can travel overseas. But what happened to the other people? We have to stand up for the others. We have to stand up for the generation to come because this thing is rolling over generation to generation. And it's a problem. The young lady that's with you, she spoke about healthcare. And this is one of the things that I think that when years ago it is so important that we have. Yes, the cost of the cost of living is very high. The minimum wage is very low. But look, we have to find a way to work around it. Can government give an increase a bit more to the people? The people paying Social Security. Can the government take a portion of that and add to the life insurance? And then they will match that and pay a portion for them. These are avenues that we can look into to make it happen. All the people that we have that's overseas, which I'm one of them, saying things to our family. All right, your customer send down a box for $700 of groceries every 3 months. Then cut it down to $500 and send them the other $200 and put onto the life insurance. We have to find a way to solve the situation because it's imperative that we do. It's a problem. And what some people don't understand, yes, you are maybe getting a little healthcare free, but you might have some kind of chronic disease that you have lived a long time with, and you don't know how much it's going to cost you. And then you can get mediocre treatment for that. The government can't afford to give you that kind of high-class treatment and all these big physicians to take care of you. So you have to make a way to contribute. But this is an issue. Again, it's a government issue. Again, nobody cares. But
Thank you.
that is something that we need the leaders to look into,
Thank you.
But I'm very glad that people like you and this young lady that, you stand up. You might have been in this situation. You can run over to check us out. But we have to look for the other people and generations. But this is an imperative situation that needs to be taken care of. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. And I was just writing down a few things. I'm looking at oxygen, for example, that we may take for granted. A tank of oxygen, I don't know the price right now. I remember in 2009, 2010, when my sister was ill with cancer, we were buying a can of a big bottle of oxygen for about $145. So now I'm sure it's more expensive than that. The ICU cost of dialysis, cost of surgery, cost of medications that would have to be given, and as well the cost of the doctors and all of that. So we know that all of these incur massive costs, and at the end of the day, how sustainable it is if everything is going to be given for free. Let's take this caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Carlton.
Yes.
It's me again.
Yes, ma'am.
Lucille, they did a census late last year or early this year, I can't remember.
I know it was around that time.
They came in my area in that estate. And the young people they are doing the census, they go where they wanted. They stood up, they watch my house, and they go in another house. So it seems as though it was political. The people on other side tell them, don't go in that house, no, she will not answer you. These are the things that are happening. So if it's for census, my name is not on census. Thank you very much. I'm not saying that.
Thank you. But we know, based on the question that the caller asked, I just said to him, I know that there was one done. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Carlton.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. It's not everybody that leaves Dominica overseas. Before I leave Dominica, I have contributed a lot to Social Security because I know I used to work like River Hotel and I used to work night and day. So I know I contribute. And a lot of Dominicans that left Dominica, they contribute and they may never get that money again. But what I'm trying to say is our priority. Look at that. Every time election coming, there is a couple that come in and talk about insurance for all 500,000, $500,000. After the election, you don't hear nothing until another election again. When you watch the man again taking 10 million to persecute 4 people, and you check in the hospital, do a paracetamol, you have to get the backing of the government before you turn to the people to pay any kind of money. The people are trying, but the government are wasting. So it has to be a collaboration between the government making sacrifices and the people making sacrifices. It can't be on one side. Some of them getting arrested, people getting none. So we have to be honest. Dominicans cannot afford to pay for garbage. Dominicans cannot afford to pay the WASCO more money. The little salary they get in is third world poverty salary. So let us turn to the government and ask the government to pay the people more money, like Mr. Jolly said, and let us give the people the opportunity to grow. And in growing, the country will change. Health will be better. Health is a thing that the world wants now. People dying to get good health care. Dominica is not putting itself in a way to attract regional and international people to come and get health care in Dominica. This is where the problem lies. God bless Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. And you will hear different. I suspect what should be done, there should be some sort of dialogue with the public in terms of maybe the way forward. Maybe the government can put together a committee and maybe have that type of discussion, because I think there is also a human resource matter. We know that many of our nurses are migrating, doctors are migrating, other healthcare providers are migrating. You have the Cubans coming in. There have been people who have spoken about the language barrier, the challenge of understanding what they're saying, particularly the older folks who might be speaking merely Creole. So that is also a challenge. So it's a lot of issues that seem to be multiplying, and I think we've heard a few times the issue of salaries, low wage. Doctors feel that they're getting really next to nothing, and so they're going to try to migrate to other countries where they can earn a bit more. Let's take this caller, nurses as well. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Jolly, what's happening, Mr. Jolly?
Carlton Lando, good morning. How are you?
Okay, yes, Carlton Lando, better known as Mr. Jolly. What's happening, my brother?
I'm doing very well, and you?
Okay, well, I am trying to listen and understand so my brain can get better. But we are now talking about health, which will give us strength. Do you really believe that the Minister of Health is really concerned about health in Dominica?
I believe he does. I think
I
think the matters are way above an individual. I think it's way above. I think it's a multiplicity of issues that is multi-sectoral. So I don't think it's. I definitely believe that he cares for people. And he's.
I am saying that the minister is not interested in health, as we should have a minister of health himself that know about health. That is the problem. We have the wrong peg in a square position that is not its position.
Well,
for instance, if you go to the hospital now, at this present moment, I hear you talk about Spanish, I hear you talk about Mexican, I hear you talk about German doctors, all kind of doctors. But you know, before, the doctors that we had before was much more better than the professional doctors that they are calling there. And the doctor that we need here now, that would be the real professional, which you are talking about oxygen and things for breath and all kind of things. Dr. Dale Zangman have mentioned it. You have mentioned all about that. And you have mentioned the institutions that need what they need. And he can get it. And he can get better doctors that we can work with all the doctors that we have there at this present moment. So I'm saying that whoever is the head of the health minister is not concerned. The health minister is the wrong health minister. The finance minister for health is the wrong finance minister. So we are in a juboom. Okay. So that is why I want to, in closing, that is why I want to congratulate you. For what? Listen to what I'm congratulating you for. I'm congratulating you for the passage of Mr. Jolly, what you have learned from Mr. Jolly, and now what you are now contributing to the people that cannot afford, and to get the right prescription in the hospital can come to Carlton Jolly by Mr. Jolly. Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. What we're going to do, if we're going to take a short break and then we will be back. It's now 13 minutes after the hour of 11. And so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Oh, and if they say convenience could make a big difference, then you can trust me. I know just where you should be. And shopping and having fun with your daughter or with your son. We cater to everyone. What a happy place. Oh, JP Mega, 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 Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Bring Papa and Mama along. We cater to everyone. What a happy place, happy place. Oh, what a happy place. Purchase 6 or more of any item and you automatically qualify for a discount. Check us out at the Mega Store in Funkole where there's lots of parking. On Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. JP Mega, the best family shopping experience. Who say health cannot have vibes? Well, Jolly's Pharmacy is proving you otherwise. With Health Vibes, every Wednesday morning on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Health Vibes, education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Hosted by Carlton Lango with co-hosts Jacinta Fagan Defo and Trudy Kristen. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Health Vibes every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
I woke up this morning feeling real stink. I had the intentions to call in sick, but I end up in Jolly's Pharmacy. Great and down King George Street, Jolly's fix up my immune system. Got me feeling fit and strong, now I'm ready to work and pick on any mission. If you see me walking, Jolly's Pharmacy is number one, Jolly's walking. We cater for everyone, Jolly's walking. Boost up the immune system, Jolly's walking. Yeah. Yo, Dominic is the white father box. Whenever I'm in town and I'm feeling down, I head to Jolly's Pharmacy. They boost me up real quick. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
We're back with you. It's now 15 minutes after the hour of 11. And today we've been having an open line where you can have, but we were merely talking about the healthcare system here in Dominica. We do know that we still have very committed nurses and doctors, particularly in a primary care system or tertiary care system as well. And they are passionate. They are passionate about administering, rendering service to humanity and making a difference in somebody's life, particularly those who are infirmed, those who are hurting, those who are ill, and those who are in pain. So these are things, so we know that almost every part of Dominica has a health center. Almost every one of us know the district nurse, and we can access that district nurse. Something happens within our community, and usually we run to call the district nurse to administer help. And we still have a lot of respect for healthcare providers on the island, and that is a good thing. But I'm saying that most of the challenges that we are facing are not merely endemic to Dominica. We know that it happens in other countries as well, and we know that resources are becoming scarcer and scarcer. I heard one caller talk about prioritizing, which is a very good word. Prioritizing really, and that's where maybe a SWOT analysis maybe should be done. What are our strengths or weaknesses or opportunities or threats? And really look at it from a quantitative and qualitative perspective, so that we can really see how we can fix some of the areas that are of challenge to us right now.
And Carlton, I did like that word. The prioritization word was used in reference to government and the prioritization of spending, but I also would want to extend it to personal prioritization and as individuals also prioritizing health, because I'm just kind of going to go back a bit to where I started off in terms of, what we ended up in is a whole discussion on health economics. And in this discussion, I think a little aspect of personal responsibility and prioritization has kind of been left out. And I will go back to this whole thing about, okay, you thinking of yourself as an individual, you've started working, for instance, and you're making a salary. It's small. Okay. But have you thought about health, long-term health costs that you may have, and put something aside for that? You know, if it's in terms of insurance, if it's in terms of savings, whatever it is that a priority, or are other things priorities? And sometimes we say, you know, we cannot prioritize if, you know, the earning is small, and I understand it's very difficult, but I know there are times where we could do a bit better in terms of prioritizing. Like, you know, we would spend on certain things.
Cell phones.
We would spend on certain things, but when it comes to our health, we don't want to. So it's like, I will earn something, I will spend on something maybe that does not have any long-term benefit to me, but if it's to pay for something related to health, I'll say that's too expensive, I don't want to do it. So I've heard that a lot. Different people have different situations, of course, but I do know there is a lot of priority that is not placed on health. I know that just from, you know, general interaction. A lot people wait until it's a major crisis, a major health crisis. And then what is very common these days too is the crowdfunding for health. So a major crisis, and then it becomes GoFundMe, right? So a plan, a economic plan for health is necessary on a personal level as well. As a governmental level, and as a nation, yes, but on a personal level, we also need to plan and prioritize for our health.
And that's well said, and I agree with you 100%. And I know we've had Mrs. Rule here in the past talking about health insurance and the cost, because I mean, many of us drive, we do not know, you know, what comes before us, and then we recognize how expensive, you know, when your leg is broken and doctors have to put bolts and metal, and you hear 10,000, 12,000 per leg. Sometimes, you know, you recognize, wow, I should have had, you know. So it's a very good point where younger people can really prioritize. Let's take this caller. Good morning to you, caller. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good morning, Carlton.
Good morning to you, my brother.
And good morning, Trudy.
Good morning.
Yeah, I didn't hear the whole of the program. I just came up with this like minutes ago, but you just made a point there that really forced me to call about each individual just take the responsibility of their health situation or condition, how things could just be so much better. Because even a couple of weeks ago, I think I made a point when we were talking about healthcare and expensive and this and that. I mean, honestly speaking, if we just do what needs to be done within our own physical structures, I mean, we can stay away from even getting sick to even have to go to the hospital. And I'm taking it on that level because when you understand the resources that your body needs or each organ needs, and then you can sustain them with the resources that they need, then you can stay free from getting sick, you know, build your immune system, your circulatory system, everything. Just put everything in check. So you made that point there on the surface, but I really wanted to revisit it because it is critical. And then if each takes care of his own, then we don't have that big problem of people getting sick or people just flooded, just ending up in the emergency room or even in hospital and end up just dying from simple things that not supposed to cause death. But because they are neglected or it waits for so long before it was detected, then they succumb. So thanks for that.
And again, the caller is talking about lifestyle, you know, and focusing on wellness, not just health, but wellness, which is where the component of how we live, the actions, the decisions, the choices that we make, how do they impact our general health and wellness? And that's where the wellness aspect comes in, how our lifestyles will impact our general health and wellness. It is 11:22. We're going to take a short break again, and then we will wrap up today's show when we do return.
Who say health cannot have vibes? Well, Jolly's Pharmacy is proving you otherwise. With Health Vibes, every Wednesday morning on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Health Vibes, education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Hosted by Carlton Langdo with co-hosts Jacinta Fagan Defo and Trudy Kristen. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Health Vibes every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
I woke up this morning feeling real stink. I had the intentions to call in sick, but I end up in Jolly's Pharmacy. Great and down in the street, Jolly's fix up my immune system. Got me feeling fit and strong, now I'm ready to work and take on any mission. If you see me walking, Jolly's Pharmacy is number one, Jolly's walking. We cater for everyone, Jolly's walking. Boost up your immune system, Jolly's walking. Yeah. Yo, Dominic is the boy Father Fox. Whenever I'm in town and I'm feeling down, I head to Jolly's Pharmacy. They boost me up real quick. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Oh, and if they say convenience could make a big difference, then you can trust me. I know just where you should be. And that is JP Mega, 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 Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun with your daughter or with your son. We cater to everyone. What a happy place. Oh, JP Mega, 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 Mega. The one-stop shopping, Dominica, nigga. You could be shopping and having fun. Bring Papa and Mama along. We cater to everyone. What a happy place, happy place.
Oh, what a happy place. Purchase 6 or more any item and you automatically qualify for discounts. Check us out at the Mega Store in Funkole where there's lots of parking on Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. JP Mega, the best family shopping experience.
So we're back with you. It's 11:25, and we're going to basically change the gear a little. Truly, so Sunday past was World International's Men's Day.
Mhm.
I heard quite a bit about the lack thereof of
Yeah.
recognition of men.
That was the main thing. I really wanted to talk about. So many men complained that
Yes.
International Men's Day did not receive much recognition, that it was observed on the same day as World Toilet Day. I heard that too. Yes. And also that the very next day was World Children's Day.
Yes.
And that there was so much more emphasis placed on that as compared to the International Men's Day. And I really wanted to, kind of give men some focus, because I noticed that they did not take it very well.
Mhm.
As a man, Carlton, what were your thoughts?
Well, I looked at social media and I
Mm.
recognized for real that there were not much that was said relating to men. I mean, most of the pastors, they spoke about the role of the man in the family and the marginalization of men, the social issues that are affecting the male man now, violence, drug addiction, a lack of employment, crime and delinquency, and so forth. But I did not hear much about, identifying and sort of celebrating the good that men have done. We know that most of our infrastructure were done by men. Most of our designs were done by men. Most of many families, men played a vital role in the sustenance of the family, from the providing of a home to stay in, to ensuring that the children got a sound education and became somebody in life, There are men who have done that, have made that commitment and have done an excellent job in doing so. I can include myself. And I can say too that many of our young men are trying. I'm seeing they are playing a more vital role with the way that they raise their children. You're seeing more men at PTAs right now. I see men even bringing their children to the health center, carrying the bag, and sometimes just bring them without the wife or girlfriend. And sometimes we just look so much at the negatives that are affecting the mailman and not focus on the positives. You know, the some of the most of the we've only had one female prime minister. All the others have been men. Most of our ministers, only now we've seen a sort of a shift. But in times past, most of the leadership positions were held by men, and men made a valuable contribution to Dominica. So I think the day could have had a pinch of positivism to it, rather than just looking at the social ills that are affecting men.
hmm I think, Carlton, what you have said is true. I think what has happened in society, it's something where females used to be, I would say, not given equal rights and privileges as men in older days, and there was a big push to empower females, empower women, so add women voting rights and women working rights and equality for women and so on. And so somewhere in all of this, and people will say that's called the wave of feminism that happened. Sometimes men seem to have gotten kind of pushed.
Complacent?
Yes. No, I don't know. Not men got complacent, but the focus on men now has kind of become less, because it was a push for equal stance or an equal stance. And so what I think has happened is that in that push, we have kind of downplayed men. So now we have to do something opposite because there had been so much talk about, equality for women and this and this. So we see that when it's, in terms of recognizing women, there is automatically much more of a big
Boss.
deal and emphasis placed. We say the same thing about Mother's Day as compared to Father's Day. We say the same thing. So I think maybe now we have to kind of be cognizant of the fact that we have kind of done a lot for putting women on some of the equal footing that they require in terms of professionalism, in terms of opportunities, so we can focus on men as well. There's another point that men need to also focus or highlight themselves. So I did hear that on International Men's Day that, well, why don't the men, broadcast the day as well and do something as men? What about a men's group to do something to commemorate the day? Not waiting for a woman to celebrate the day for the man. So there's also that point of view that maybe the men are kind of quiet as it relates to recognizing their own selves. And so that recognition is kind of minimal. So the men can also be showy, be vocal about their own recognition, and that's okay.
I agree. I think too, and I agree with your points. I think the other argument too is men are oftentimes not maybe validated enough. And so, oftentimes you will hear congratulatory messages pouring out for a female who would have done well or so, and you may not get the same for a man. And so that is something too that we should be celebrating each other too. We should be developing each other and embracing each other. I find women, although you may disagree, I know women say women can be their own worst enemy, but I find generally women still support each other maybe a bit more than men do. And I think that is why so many of us suffer in silence, because yes, we're around the boys, we play the dominoes with them, But when it comes to serious conversations that has to do with our personal lives, and we shun, we still don't trust and tell them what's really happening with us. And so I think it's a big discussion. I think it is one that warrants some interest. And I do hope that in the future, we can really have maybe a full show of the mailman. And is he becoming marginalized? I think that's a very interesting topic that we should have very, very soon.
And our lines are going, but it's the end of our time.
But we are above time. It's 11:33. We are supposed to end at 11:30. So unfortunately, we cannot take any more calls. So as usual, in closing, your health is indeed your greatest resource. Preserve it. Have a good morning, everybody, and remainder of the week. Take care and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Who say health cannot have vibes? Well, Jolly's Pharmacy is proving you otherwise. With Health Vibes, every Wednesday morning on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Health Vibes, education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Hosted by Carlton Langdo with co-hosts Jacinta Fagan Defo and Trudy Kristen. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together every Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Health Vibes every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 a.m. to 11:30. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
You're listening. You're listening to Oasis Sounds. Oasis Sounds.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas.